Hey guys, welcome back. Make sure you check out my podcast that I'm filming on here as well, Better Than Yesterday podcast at Jayla and Baby. And if you like it, make sure you share it and leave a rating and review because it would mean the world to me. So let's get right into it. Let me get some water. Hey, you guys, welcome back to the Better Than Yesterday podcast. This is episode 33 with Jayla and Baby, and today we're going to be talking about how to break bad habits and form new good habits. Now, let's start with the basics. So, what even is a habit? Well, a habit, according to Google, is a regular practice or pattern that is hard to give up. So typically it's hard to give up. So whether it's good or bad or whatever you classify it as, we all have habits and we all have ones that we want to create and we all have ones that we want to quit. Now, why it's so hard is because we have a sort of routine that is built and there's cues and triggers which cause us to fall into these habits. A lot of us have habits we want to form, such as going to the gym, and maybe habits we want to quit, like caffeine or drinking coffee right when we wake up, or, consuming alcohol or something like under those things. But the first step into breaking any habit is being aware. And you should give yourself a lot of credit for that because a lot of people aren't even aware of the day to day habits that they have that are stagnating them from their goals or turning them away from their goals. So the first step is always being aware. So we want to identify the triggers that cue our habits. But just like I said, there's a trigger and a cue. So for example, for me, a good habit that I have is I wake up every morning and I make my bed. I don't even think twice about it. I work at 5 a.m., you guys, and sometimes I'm half asleep making my bed. And it's just when I wake up, there is a cue, which is okay, now I'm getting out of bed, I'm taking off the sheets, now I'm making it. And that's the trigger to make my bed. And the reaction I get is my bed is made and I'm happy. And the reward I get is coming home from work and seeing that my bed is all nice and clean and ready for my day to do whatever I need to do on it, whether it's sit and do work, sit and relax, whatever. It's all nice and made, and that's the reward that I get. Something that can help you form these habits as well is using if-then statements. So, for example, if I am feeling anxious, then I will do this instead. A lot of people have certain habits that they form under an emotional trigger, right? We all have certain ways that we cope with emotional triggers. And a lot of the time, that may not be the healthiest reaction, but being aware and finding ways to change it is very important and very crucial. So maybe sometimes when you start to feel anxious, you drink coffee. I know it sounds so silly, but that person is me. I struggle so much with anxiety, which I've talked about, and I talk about it openly. Like, I'm such an anxious person, but I drink a lot of coffee at the same time. Obviously, I've come down a lot from it. I used to drink 4 to 6 cups of coffee a day. Now I would say I drink 2 to 4, which is big, huge for me. Like 2 is usually what it's been like, but I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I drink 4 and it is what it is. So a new statement I can use is if I feel anxious, instead of drinking coffee, if I feel anxious, I will then journal. If I feel anxious, then I will meditate. If I feel anxious, then I'll go for a walk. Instead of reaching to an emotional support, which is my coffee, because I'm reacting, right? Okay, I'm feeling anxious. So what am I going to do, right? It's a trigger. I'm feeling anxious. This cues me to go to coffee, which is my reaction. I feel better. I'm going to make the coffee. And my reward is drinking the coffee and feeling at ease in that moment. Now, that's That's how it kind of forms, right? So I'm aware of it. So when you're aware of it, you're able to fix it better and focus on it more. Something that helps is habit stacking. If you haven't heard of habit stacking before, which is good for breaking a habit and forming a habit, is you focus on a habit that is already made and embedded in your life, and you stack a new habit on top of it. So, for example, if you have a bad habit, right, such as going on your phone when you wake up in the morning, right, what we can then do is we add a new habit that we're wanting to put on top of it to change it, right? So, for example, if you wake up in the morning and you check your phone and you're scrolling for hours on it instantly, maybe you can set an alarm, right? So, say you have an alarm for 8 a.m. when you wake up. Maybe set another alarm for 8:10. So when you go on your phone, instead of scrolling for forever, you have a second alarm that's going on. So right when you hit that 8 a.m. alarm, you're scrolling on your phone, that 10-minute alarm, that 10 minutes later, you'll like, okay, time to get up. Instead of scrolling for 2 hours, you're scrolling for 10 minutes. Now, this may not work for a lot of you, right? Because you're just going to use that as your snooze alarm. I know you. I grew up in high school and college and whatever, and work, whatever, too. I sleep in too sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes we have those days, and that's human. That's okay. But being aware of those things and those struggles. So that may not work for you. That may not be what's best for you. But that is what I'm talking about habit stacking. And then we can move backwards to 9 minutes, 8 minutes, 7 minutes, 6 minutes, to not even going on our phone at all right when we wake up, right? Habit stacking. For me, I've been wanting to drink tea at night because there's so many benefits, but there's just something about it that I like my night snack, which is fine, but I want to turn away from having a night snack. I've formed a habit of eating a healthy night snack, which is my yogurt bowls, but now I just want to drink tea, right? So what I could be doing, so for example, I'm going to have my normal yogurt bowl, and then right after it, I'm going to stack a habit that I want to form, such as drinking my chamomile tea after. But I'm not completely changing everything. So it's intense right off the bat. I'm going to just stack a new habit on top of it and then slowly pull away, right? Okay, I'm going to try maybe 5 days out of the week. I'm going to still eat my yogurt bowl and have my chamomile tea. And then I'm going to do four days the next week, 3 days the next week, two, one, and then I'm just gonna have chamomile tea. And then some days when I want dessert, I'm gonna have dessert because we are not restricting here. We are building a lifestyle that we want to form, and we always want to grow and be better. Okay. So remember, we build triggers, cues, reactions, and rewards. So you want to feel good and feel happy about the accomplishments you're making. Don't completely strip everything away. Start building those habit stackings, okay? Another good example for me is I used to always watch shows when I was doing my cardio, and then I switched from watching shows to listening to music. Then I switched from listening to music to audiobooks to podcasts. And sometimes I talk on the phone. It makes my cardio go by faster, you know? And it's built me some sort of form of endurance during my cardio. So doing stuff like that, where it's like you integrate certain habits you already built, like going to the gym and doing something, watching something, to doing something else that you can tie into it, such as using that time to call people on the phone that you've been meaning to call. Use that time in your day to do that. We're building habits, okay? Overall, you just want to shift your mindset to a positive one where you're being kind to yourself and you're not restricting. This is what you're choosing to do, right? Sorry, my headset hit my mic. What you're choosing to do, you're not restricting, you're bettering yourself. And there's some days you may fall into that bad habit, but just remember to hop right back onto it the next day as soon as possible, because that's how we build that routine and become stronger, because our brains like habits. That's why a lot of us have a routine, whether it's like a morning routine, an afternoon routine, or maybe like it's an after work routine where you run to the Circle K or Starbucks or whatever, or watch Netflix when you get home after you get your carry out, whatever the vibe may be, everybody has a routine, whether you're aware of it or not. So just shifting your mindset because you're wanting the best for you, not because you're trying to restrict. We're trying to add better things into our life, better qualities, better things to make us grow and be better. And, ultimately have us feeling good. Because remember, when you feel good, you do good, right? And then a huge thing too is learn about your weaknesses and your weak points and what triggers you. Because a lot of us aren't even aware. I think a lot of people are scared to find out your weaknesses, but that just makes us more aware to get us out of a certain situation. A lot of habits come from triggers, whether it's social scenarios, social environments, people, restaurants, maybe the kitchen, maybe, when you feel a certain emotion like anxious or angry, accuse you to do something, right? When you're angry, maybe you want to hit something. Maybe when you're sad, you're wanting to get a bar of chocolate, finding out what triggers you in the environment and maybe writing it down or vocalizing it out loud to a friend or to yourself. And then that way we can avoid those scenarios. The strongest people in the world, strongest minded, most smart, most successful, everybody has triggers and weaknesses. You're never going to not. You're a human. So make sure you keep that in mind. We're growing to be better every single day, right? Better than yesterday. Every single day. So we can be stronger. You want to be the best version of yourself every single day. So you can help the people around you be better every single day. Everyone has weak points. So just remember that, okay? Everybody does. So habit stacking is huge, not just to break bad habits, but to form new ones. Maybe adding habit stacking, doing 7 days a week, keeping your old habit, right? And then slowly, you know, make a habit customizable to you. Nobody knows you better than you. So sit down with yourself and figure out what's triggering you, what's causing you not to set realistic goals and habits for yourself to be the best version of yourself. Don't you owe that to yourself? You do. Because you are amazing. And remember to be kind to yourself overall. Don't be doing this habit because anyone's making you do it other than yourself. You are so important. You are so crucial. You are amazing. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. And if there's anybody in your life that's telling you otherwise, you better be pushing them to the curb, because I'm telling you right now, the people you surround yourself with and say things to you are your affirmations. If they are constantly making you question yourself and degrading you, making you feel small, that is an affirmation. You're hearing it all the time out loud, especially if you're hanging with these people a lot. So keep that in mind. You are amazing. I hope this helped you in whatever way it may. If it did, please leave a rating and review. It would mean the world to me. And as always, remember to be 1% better than you were yesterday. See you next week. Have a great day, you guys. And remember to check back for my other videos.